When he went outside, police shot and killed him. The AP quotes one official as saying the shooter used to be a professor at East Carolina University. Names of the killer and his victims have not been released. Joining us now is terrorism analyst Tom Makaitis. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
I'm not sure if this falls into the classification of terrorism, but it is another example of something we talk about a lot, which is the lone wolf shooter. And not sure that anything can ever be done about that in the near future anyway.
Well, I mean, the thing that everybody keeps coming back to is easy access to firearms, but you're absolutely right. This is not a terrorist incident by all indications. It's a disgruntled employee, or what we might call an idiosyncratic lone wolf, frustrated with his own career development, who just took it out on a bunch of innocent students by hosing the place with bullets. So it is very hard to prevent, but as I said, control of the firearms would be the only way to do it. And we, of course, know where that discussion's going.
And you know, I'm sure parents are worried about college campuses, and schools in general seem like such vulnerable places. Is there anything else that the government can do to specifically protect those places aside from changing gun issues?
I don't know about the government, but in fact, the universities themselves are. I mean, you know, we do preparation for shelter in place. We have some training and so on, and our students, I think, are more aware. Interestingly enough, this generation of students have been dealing with active shooters almost their entire educational career, sad to say.
Yeah.
So they're somewhat used to it. And without dismissing the horror of it, it could have been much worse. The response was quick, and most of the students seemed to know what to do. Unfortunately, 3 were killed.
Yep. Tom, let's turn to Israel and Hamas. There was a report that the IDF had the Hamas leader in Gaza surrounded. How much of a difference does it make to get the leader of a group like that? I had read a report that they were farming out hostages to like smaller cells of, and it made me wonder, is it like Al-Qaeda where you just have these offshoots that nobody controls anything?
Not exactly, but these organizations exist on multiple levels. Hamas is a terrorist organization. It's part of the larger Muslim Brotherhood Islamist network. It has it's been the government of Gaza and so on. The Qassam Brigade is the one that carried out the horrific attacks on October 7th without even notifying the political leadership, much of which is in Qatar. I suspect they're moving people around in the tunnel network, but rather than being able to hand the terrorists or the hostage to anybody else. As far as taking out the leaders, no, especially given the death toll in Gaza. As one Israeli retired officer said, you know, in 5 years, we'll be fighting their children. I fear that all this is going to do is build up the legacy of bitterness and contribute to the cycle of violence. Because they're going in, contrary to what the U.S. advised them to do, with incredible firepower and very loose rules of engagement, different than we did in Fallujah. And that's just adding very much to the body count. And that bitterness is not going to go away.
All right, Tom Makaitis, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tom.
Happy to do it. Have a nice day.
You too, 8:34.